Let's look at the Steps to Success, Level 2, Chapter 5, which begins on page 314. We'll be using the file from the Student Data Files, Chapter 5. It is called Golf 2, and they ask us to rename it as Golf Orders 2, and I've put my last name in front of it. So this is the file we'll be using. On page 314, they talk about the situation, and they say we've added some handling charges for this golf equipment, and that's in this spreadsheet. And it says if the total order value is less than 2,500, the handling charge is 0.7%. But as they buy more things, then the handling charge goes down. Here's 0.5%, 0.4%, all the way down to 0.2%. And then notice it also says we're never going to charge them more than $30. So that's our maximum handling fee. Now, figure 525 says we've updated that order form and put our shipping weight up here, our region number, our shipping method, and the customer type. And we'll see what those mean in a little bit. On 316, page 316, table 510, they want us to name 7 different ranges. On the costs worksheet, that's the first one, and here's a little trick that I use. They want us to select A5 through C20. I normally don't type references, but in a situation like this, I like to type the reference in the name box, A5:C20, and then when I hit enter, it highlights that range, because I might assume that they wanted to include the titles or whatever. And so now that that range is highlighted, I click in the name box and they want that named item price, and then we press enter to finish naming that. On the handling sheet, boy 2 to girl 3, B2:G3. They want us to call that handling fee. On the discounts sheet, they want 2 ranges named, A2 to A5, that's this range. They want to call it disc for discount. And total order value, they want B2 to B5, so that's TOT order val. Then on the shipping table, on the shipping worksheet, we want to name 3 ranges, ship 1, ship 2, and ship 3. First thing is B3 to E7. They want to call that ship 1. Then B11 to E15. They want to call that ship 2. And the third range, B19 to E23, we want to name that ship 3. And when we finish, we can click the drop down in the name box and we should see 7 different named ranges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we have done that correctly, that finishes number 2. Number 3 on page 316. We are on the orders worksheet. That's where we're going to put all our formulas. And it says in cell C8, we want to write a formula that displays the product description for the first item in the order. Where are the product descriptions? They are on the cost sheet, aren't they? We know the item number and we want to know the description. So here's the item number that we would look up. It's in the first column, isn't it? So what function could we use? Could use the VLOOKUP, couldn't we? We've already named this range, haven't we? I think it's called item price. There's column 1. If we want the description, what column do we want back? Column number 2. So here we have the description. We want to look up the item number in that table and give me back what's in column 2. So we want the VLOOKUP function. What do we want to look up? This thing. We're going to want to look up the total as well in this column, so I'm going to make that an absolute column relative row. So I can copy the formula to the right and just change the column number and it'll still refer to that item number. So I'm looking up what's in column A on the same row. The table array is that thing called item price, isn't it? So if I start typing item price, there it is. And that's a good verification that Excel knows about that range. Now, what column do we want to be returned? We want that to be column 2, don't we? We want the description. And do we want it to be an approximate match or an exact match? We want an exact match, don't we? So that says item number 1 is the titanium driver for men. Is that correct? Item number 1, titanium driver for men. Let's check another one. Here's item 15. Well, let's copy that formula down. Item 15 should be a package for men. Item 15 is a package for men. So it looks like that formula is working correctly. Now, that's number 3. Number 4 says in cell D8, look up the total value of the item. That will be the price, which is given here in which column? 3. And that's for one item. We would want to multiply that times the quantity to get the total for that column, wouldn't we? I'm going to drag this to the right, and it's going to give me the same answer, isn't it? Because it still says, give me back column 2. But I want column 3, which will tell me what that item costs. And I'm going to format that as currency. Now we're not done yet, because we looked up item 1. It costs $325 per item. But I'm ordering more than one item, aren't I? So what am I going to have to do with this? I'm going to want to multiply it times that quantity. So I'll take that, whatever it gives me as the item price, times whatever that quantity is. So 325 times 10 is that answer. So now I should be able to copy that formula down and get correct answers for each price. Here's 2 men's packages at $13.50. 675 times 2 is $13.50, isn't it? So it looks like we have completed number 4 correctly. Number 5 says in cell D15 of the orders worksheet, D15, calculate the total cost of the order. Well, so far the total cost would be what? It would be the sum of all these numbers, wouldn't it? So if I click here and just hit auto sum, it says I don't see any numbers to the left of me, so I think you want everything above. And I say yes, good enough. And I'm going to go ahead and include these in case later I add more things. So I'm going to sum those, press enter, and I get 7791. That was number 5. Number 6 says in D16, that is the shipping. It says calculate the total shipping charge for this order based on 4 variables. The ship to region, that's up here. The customer type, which is standard, preferred, or most preferred. The total weight, which is right up here in pounds. And the method of shipping, which would be truck, boat, plane. Now we're going to use the index function, and notice with the customer type we're going to have have all 3 of these included in that index function. So let's go back here to orders. For the shipping, we want to say equals index. I'll do that with the function wizard. We want to use the reference one because we want multiple areas. The reference is a reference to one or more cell ranges. And those were the ship 1, ship 2, and ship 3, weren't they? We called this thing ship 1, etc. So let's call this ship 1, comma, ship 2, comma, ship 3, and we have to put parentheses around those multiple non-contiguous ranges. It is not case sensitive. I don't think it is. We'll find out. But I think it'll still say value over here because we haven't told it what area number. If I put an area number in here, it still doesn't know because it needs column and row. So it's going to have that error there until I fill everything out. Now the row number is, let's look in that shipping, that's the region, isn't it? The row number is the region. So I want whatever that region thing is called. There's the region, isn't it? So I don't have to have the orders sheet on there. Maybe I do. Region number. Yep. Okay. And then I want that to be absolute, don't I? Because if I move that formula somewhere else, I don't want it to move off of that cell. Column number is the shipping method, isn't it? That's 1, 2, 3, or 4. That's the column number. So there's the shipping method. Frankly, and we will probably do this in the next section, unless you work with this all the time, you're not going to know what that 3 means. So I would want to give them a drop-down list where they would pick the boat, truck, rail, air, and then we'd use a different function to look that up. So the area number we want is the customer type. Standard, preferred, or most preferred. This is the preferred. So this says we are going to charge you $1.35 per pound. We're in region 1, shipping method 3 on the preferred chart. Let's see what that is. Region number 2, I'm sorry, region 3, shipping method 3. I forgot the numbers already. Region 1, shipping method 3, customer type 2. region 1, shipping method 3, customer type 2. That should be $1.35. It's region 1, it's shipping method 3, and customer type means the second area, ship 2. So it should be $1.35. That's per pound. So if we go back here, it does say $1.35, doesn't it? Now, is it only going to cost $1.35 to ship all this stuff? No, it's $1.35 per pound times that, isn't it? So we look that all up, find out the cost per pound, and then we multiply it times the shipping weight. So there's our shipping. That is number 6. In number 7, it says in cell D17, calculate the handling cost. Be certain to account for the maximum handling charge. Handling fees are based on the total order value, not counting shipping, not counting discounts. So our handling is going to be based on this number right here, the total order. And our handling charges are right here. This is the table, handling fee. We are going to look up that total order value here and tell me what's the percentage that is charged. All right? So what kind of function would we need to use to look this up? This would be the H lookup, wouldn't it? We're looking horizontally. We want to find our total order value in this top row and give me row 2 back for the percent of order value. Now these should be formatted as percents if this says percent of order value. It's not 0.007%, it's 0.7%. So I'm going to format these as percents and give it enough decimal places where we can see this is 0.7%. Since this said percent, I think it would be good to show this as percents, not as decimals. So we have this table. This is called handling fee. So if we go back to our orders, we want a horizontal lookup function, don't we? We want equals H lookup. What's the value we're looking up? It's this total order, isn't it? And what's the table array? It's called handling fee. And there it is. The row index number is what we want to have returned to us. There's only 2 rows, so we want row 2. And the range lookup, do we want an exact match or an approximate match? We want approximate because we're not going to find that. It's exactly, that's right. So we can either put the word true or we can omit that and we get the same answer. And this says a handling fee of $0 or 0%. Wait a minute. We need to do that. Let's get some more. Okay. Okay, this is 4%. 0.4%. Let's look at our handling chart. We had more than $7,500, didn't we? But not 10,000. So 0.4% is correct, isn't it? But that handling fee has to be multiplied times that total order, doesn't it? So we're going to find that handling fee and then we're going to multiply it times that total order amount. 1% of this would be almost $78. 0.4 would be a little less than half, so this should be about $35, something like that. It's 31.16. We might want to round it to the nearest penny. I think I would do that. I think I would put the round function in there. I don't want to just make it look to two places. I'd actually want to round it to the nearest penny so that it's not going to mess up other things if we multiply by it later. So I would round this thing to two places. And then I would only show the penny. Notice it actually rounded it off. So I'm going to show it to the penny at which it's rounded. Now we have to be careful. This person ordered a bunch of stuff, but isn't there a maximum handling fee? Yes, there is. There's a maximum handling fee of $30. We don't ever want to charge them more than $30. So this is more than $30, isn't it? So we could use our minimum function and say, give me the lower of two things. If this thing is lower, give me that. But if $30 is lower, give me that. So I'm going to say, give me the minimum of this whole thing or $30. So whichever one is less, give me that one. So if the handling fee is actually less than 30, we're not going to charge them 30, okay? But if the handling fee is more than 30, then we'll charge them 30. And we already know it was more than 30, don't we? So now it says we're only going to charge them 30. What if this total order was much smaller? Let me make this 2 instead of 20. Is that still more than 5,000? Oh, it dropped below the 7,000, so now it's charging more. So it's still minimum. Let's make it really tiny. Where's my big ticket item? These titanium drivers. What if I only ordered one of those instead of 10? There we go. Now it dropped to $29.20. If I didn't order any of those, it drops even further. But that was 10, wasn't it? Okay, so it looks like our formula is doing what it's supposed to. So we're saying figure out all that, the HLOOKUP, multiply it times their total order value, round it off to two places, and then if it's less than 30, give me that, but if not, give me 30. So that gives us, and notice that when we had a maximum charge, we used the minimum function because we said we want the lower of these two things. So it's kind of, just because we say that we have a maximum handling fee doesn't mean we use the maximum function. Okay. In cell D18 of the orders worksheet, this is number 8, it says calculate the discount. Be certain to write the formula so that the discount is deducted from the total amount when all values are added. Number 8 says discounts are again based on the total order value excluding shipping and handling. So we're going to base this discount on this number again, the total order value, but not counting shipping and handling. So that's what we're going to base our discount on. Let's go look up. Let's see where our discounts are. Here's our total order value on the discount sheet. We're going to look that up, but then here's how much the discount is, isn't it? Can we use a VLOOKUP function the way this is arranged here? No, because we're looking up the total order value and we're wanting this number. We'd have to reverse these columns if we wanted to use a VLOOKUP. But we don't want to reverse the columns because this is a standard template and it gets updated, and so we'd have to reverse it every time we got a new version. So we can use our lookup function, can't we? Because we can say as long as the row or column are the same length, we can look up something in any row or any column and return something from any other row or any other column. Let's go back to our orders worksheet. Our discount then is going to be the lookup function, and we want this one with the, we don't even have to specify, because if we put 3 different things in there, it'll know it's this one. So our lookup value is this total amount, isn't it? That's what we're looking up, comma, where's our lookup vector? Our lookup vector is right here, isn't it? That's total order value. We named it already. So we're looking it up in the total order value, comma, and the result vector is this, isn't it? That's what we want to have returned to us. And now when I press enter, it'll take us back to the sheet where the formula is being generated on the order sheet, and it'll move down 1 cell. And it says your discount is $125. Is that true? $77.91 should have a discount of $125, because it's not, if you get 10,000, then you get a $500 discount. It looks like these numbers are different from those numbers. This says $150 discount, and this says $400, and this says $125 and $500. So I'm not sure which one they want, but this is the one we're going to use. If we're going to add these together, what should we do? Yes, this needs to be negative, doesn't it? So we can just put a negative sign in front of the formula, and it'll say find that number and then just make it negative. So now for the grand total, we could just add all these numbers together, couldn't we? Equals sum of all of these. And there's our grand total.